rock opera of the 90s, is it?
Safe to say.
So why do you want to write a rock opera?
Well, instead of that, I want to know why these little microphones are here. These things are really starting to bother me, man. I'm telling you.
But you probably can't.
This reminds me of a bad experience I had in Taiwan one time in
Tell us about that, Blackie.
No, well, they can't get it on TV. That's the only problem.
Can't say later.
Those little microphones are just in case the other ones you've got attached to you break down and blow up.
Sure they are.
Yes, they are.
Where were we? Sorry about that.
Now, you've
I'm
made
humoring myself here.
This album, if the guys and girls out there buy the new W.A.S.P album, it's not the normal W.A.S.P stuff, is it? It's the whole story from beginning to end about this guy called Jonathan.
Right.
And you wrote it, and it's not autobiographical, but there are
Not
experiences.
all of it. Yeah. Well, there's a couple of things. I mean, first of all, one of the things I had to discover that I'd never done anything like this before, so one of the things I quickly found out was having an idea for a story and writing it are two completely different things.
Yeah, I know about that.
So, you know, oh, you've done it before.
I've tried to do it.
Well, you know, you sit, usually when you make a regular album, you have the luxury of recording the songs, and then after they're done, you create a running order for it. Well, you don't have that luxury when you do this, because when you write the story then is in stone. So you're scoring a film. So the whole thing I'm thinking in the meantime while we're doing this is like, remember the flow, don't screw up whatever you do, because when you get to the end of this and you go to put it all together, if the flow ain't there, you got to tear it all down and start it all over again. And after 2 years of doing that, that was not a very attractive thought.
Why didn't you, said scoring a film, why didn't you go straight to some big film director and say, hey, I got this great idea for this?
Because I'm too damn greedy to give them the money. What do you think? You know, well, originally it started out as being a film. Now that we're done with it, we've shot the whole story on film to this point of what we're going to use on the live show. And once we saw that, then, you know, the wheels started clicking again, and we are pursuing film companies right now as we speak.
Excellent. So it's all out on video as well, then? The album is going to be a complete video?
Eventually, I mean, because what we'll do later on in the year is we take the Crimson Idol out on tour. We'll do it in its entirety from beginning to end.
Right.
And the video for the Idol is like a small version of what the live show is going to be, because you're going to see this big, gigantic mirror behind us, because the mirror plays a very important part of the story. It's the boy's alter ego. So you will see his life story going on behind us. It's like, you know, in the old days when you had a silent film, you had an organ player playing up there. Well, now you got a film with a metal band playing in front of it. You know?
And you won't be playing an organ, probably, no?
No comment.
Better keep it safe, I guess.
Really, I keep looking at this thing.
I'd love to know your experience in Taiwan.
No.
But the guy we've just seen there on MTV, it just went out as you were talking, he's a great guy. He's Chainsaw Charlie. I can't actually describe how you describe him on the album, because it's not family words, are they, I guess?
And you want to know about Taiwan? That makes Charlie look like a day at the beach.
Tell us, this Chainsaw Charlie, he's representing the great big moguls of the great big record companies.
Well, you know, he's part of the machine. I mean, we had, I'll be frank with you, we had a very, very bad experience in Los Angeles with somebody out there at the label, and we begged and begged for 3 years to get off the label, and they would not let us go. And so we wrote this song, and they let us go.
That's your revenge.
You know, sure, you know. Yeah, you find that there are more than one way to skin a cat. You know, there's a part in this story where Charlie is talking to Jonathan, and he explains to him what the chainsaw is and the morgue. He says the morgue is the place where all artists will eventually whore themselves to commercialism. It's the place where the music comes to die. So, you know, depending on how you're looking at it, you have to make a decision as to whether you want to actually be like that in your career. And I don't mean you per se, but I mean, God knows you wouldn't do that. But
of course I don't like that.
Out here doing a jig for everybody.
I think you'd do it.
Do you, John?
I think you would, Ray.
Well, I don't know. Right, then, okay then. Now, it's another personal experience. I know because I've watched your electronic press kit, and I know that you've said that you actually met someone during your years. There was a fortune teller, and in the album it comes across as the boy meets the gypsy.
Right.
Well, tell us about that.
Gypsy
Meets the boy.
Right. Dyslexia strikes again. No, I had an experience when I left the New York Dolls that I went to this party, and I met a girl there, and she asked me if I wanted my fortune told, and I really didn't believe in it. So I says, yeah, all right, whatever, you know. And so she says, you've just come out of something that's relatively important, but there's going to be a great void in your life. You're going to go on to make whatever you've just come out of look like nothing. And I thought, well, yeah, that sounds great on paper, you know, but it's like, let's see it materialize. I'm 19 years old at the time, so And a week later, I went to another party, and another woman came in and read my fortune. I mean, he was 2 times in 1 week. I know this sounds bizarre, but it's true. Told me the exact same story, almost word for word, and it has come true exactly like they said it would. And I mean, I'm not like a believer in that stuff, but I mean, let's put it this way, at least it's got me wondering at this point, because I mean, 2 people telling you the same exact story, you know, it makes you start thinking maybe there is something to this stuff, you know. At least in my mind anyway, at least the jury's out on it, you know. I'm not saying no, it doesn't exist.
Cool. What about, I mean, if it's a story from beginning to it, it has a beginning, a middle and an end. This guy goes through a massive transformation in his life, and at the end something happens to him which maybe I shouldn't talk about now. But is there a moral to the story then? There always are morals.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for. It may come true.
Excellent. Okay. Next time you see these guys, they'll be performing live.
Maybe.
Yes, you will.
How much money?
It's in the contract.
Really, how much money you got?
It's in the
We're going to
contract.
hold your ass up now, boy.
They'll be back performing live. Believe me, I have the power over these people, you know. After some more music and some more words from our sponsors. And, of course, I'm going to get to know about the Taiwan experience now. So join me later with W.A.S.P, won't you? So about that Taiwan experience then. Yes, Most Wanted live from London, and as promised, now in the studio, brought to you at no expense whatsoever. I'll probably have to buy them a drink later. This is the new album, The Crimson Idol, and how many other programmes will get you this close to the music? This is Blackie, Lawless and John Rod from W.A.S.P performing live in the studio, one of the songs, Hold On To My Heart.
Moving swiftly along, look who's next to me here. It's one of my favourite artists, Mr. Blackie Lawless from W.A.S.P.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Nice to see you, Blackie.
Thanks.
Now, what brought you back over to good old Europe after a fairly lengthy absence?
Well, I finally finished a record that went on forever. I mean, it was like the eternal record. And I'm over here just doing a bit of promotion, supposed to get ready to kick it off.
Yeah, it was a record that wouldn't go away, wasn't it? It's been 3 years in the making, hasn't it?
Man, everybody keeps saying, well, why did it take so long? I go, because I'm slow, you know, I'm not very good, you know. It's like, you know, I hope to get it together. Maybe the next one will take less time.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of reaches almost Def Leppard proportion, doesn't it? A 3-year time period. What was it? Was it a complex musical journey or what?
Well, you know, I really didn't have a band, and I built a studio, and it took me a year to write the story. The story was enormously complicated, and then I'm writing some bits and pieces of music along the way, but the problem is like when you do a regular record, you have the luxury of recording all the tracks, and then you decide what you want the running order to be later. Well, that's not the case with when you're doing a conceptual record or an opera or whatever, because you got to write the story and then you put the subplots in, and the subplots effectively turn out to be songs, and in that case, the running order is written in stone from the get-go, and if it ain't right and you get to the end, then you're going to be another 2-3 years before it's finished. You know? So it behooves us to get it right the first time.
Yeah, Lord forbid that it should carry on that long. Of course, dear me. Now, you've already given people a little taster of what's to come with the single Chainsaw Charlie, which we kind of touched on earlier. It's been phenomenally successful already, hasn't it?
It's doing okay. You know, for a
Oh,
poor
he's
boy.
so modest, isn't he? He's too modest.
Well, Charlie is, I think the first thing when people see the bag, you know, and they see the saw sticking out and, you know, the bits of paraphernalia on the table, first thing they're going to think is, cool, old W.A.S.P, you know. And in reality, it appears to be that way on the surface, but it's a lot more to it than that, because Charlie, or Chainsaw Charlie, is the president of one of the biggest record companies of the world in this story, because in the story of the Crimson Idol, there's a central character, his name is Jonathan Steele, and there's actually 9 characters in the story, Charlie being one of them. And the chainsaw of Chainsaw Charlie is symbolistic of what they do to young artists in Los Angeles. And it's not even so much, you know, in New York. It's mostly what happens in L.A. And they take these kids and they rip them to ribbons, and they leave them by the roadside for dead, and then they get somebody else to take the place. So, and the morgue, or Chainsaw Charlie and the Murders in the New Morgue, the morgue, Charlie explains to Jonathan, is the place where all artists will eventually whore themselves in commercialism. It's the place where the music comes to die. So Charlie says that if you want to make it in this business, boy, you got to come through me, and you can forget all about these these Puritan ideas or musical integrity things that you have preconceived, because it ain't gonna happen. You want to make it, you got to go through me. You don't go through me, you don't happen.
right along and check out all the latest news in the hard facts section. Rockers.up. We've managed to find a little international flavour down here at the show tonight because we've got 3 young ladies from all different countries and they've all got questions to ask of Mr. Blackie Lawless here. Now then, what's your name, my dear?
My name's Andy, and
Where are you from?
I'm from Austria.
Now then, you must have a good question from Mr.
Yeah,
Blackie
I've got a
here.
very good question because it was quite a surprise for me to find you here today. So what brought you here? Are you doing a solo project forever now, or are you still gonna wasping around, or?
Well, basically,
Tell us
I came here to
everything.
see you. So you didn't know that, but I did.
No, that's lovely, that's
No, I'm
lovely.
here to do promotion.
Uh-huh.
I
You're
just
promoting yourself?
Well, I just basically I forgot my pom-poms. I'm here cheerleading, basically, is what it boils down.
All right, all right.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll pass it on.
Yeah, pass me on. Now, what's your name, my dear?
My name is Isabella.
And you're from Milan, aren't you?
Yeah,
if
from
I can
Milan,
tell by the eyes,
Italy.
you see. Now, you must have a good question for Blackie.
Yeah, so I heard you're going to Milan next week.
Yes, I am.
So yeah, what do you think of Italian food?
Well, the reason I'm going there because I can't get decent spaghetti in Los Angeles, so I figure I'd go there.
You like
to get
Italian
some.
food?
That's right. I like the Italian women more than the food, but I'll take the food if that's all I can get.
Now, I know you've seen Blackie performing in Milan, haven't you? How many years ago was that?
I was 14. It was about 7 years ago.
I didn't
yeah.
know you then, though.
No.
Yeah,
Tell them that I
yeah,
did.
but I bet you remember me. Yeah.
No, it was your sister.
It was me.
All right.
Screaming, yeah.
I was
How
never there.
popular is Blackie in Italy?
Oh, it's really popular. I remember that show. There was so many people. It was packed up, wasn't it?
It was packed up, that's
It was
right.
definitely
And we were packed up, ready to go.
Yanni, what's your name, my dear?
My name's Liz. I play drums with this lot in Original Sin.
Oh, she actually got the commercial in. We got the plug in. Now, what's your question?
we've been around a long time. We've heard them all.
I don't come from anywhere exotic because I live here in England.
Now, what's your question for Blackie?
And I want to know, when are you playing here next? Because I want to come to see you. Because what was always my favourite band.
What, it isn't anymore?
I don't know anymore. Why do you like something that doesn't exist?
What the hell am I right here, right now? What am I, chopped liver? You know, he's like,
I'm a vegetarian. That feels disgusting.
So, Carl, when are you going to be around in Blackie? That's what she wants to know.
August 22nd. We're doing a little small out-of-the-way place up here called Donnie.
Oh, we've given it away there, haven't we?
Well, right, we have the exclusive.
We have
I
an
don't think
exclusive
it's
here.
exclusive. I do not think it's exclusive. We've been getting fan mail. The kids already know it's happening, so we decided to go ahead and announce it because there's no point in hiding it anymore.
Now then, you must have another question before we round things up here.
Yeah, is there going to be any blood in the future?
If you come around, there might be. I don't
Yeah, I can be really bad,
can
you know.
really
You
believe
better
it.
watch out.
That's right.
Well, as you can see, I mean, Blackie, he's a very popular man with the ladies all over Europe. What's his secret? I wish I did.
Oh, man. I
Hey, maybe these guys will know as well when they get over here. We're going to check out our video of the week. Brand new band from the States, and they're called Ugly Kid Joe, and my female sources tell me they're really not that ugly at all. But anyway, we'll check them out, and I think there's a song called Everything About You, right here. There you go. It's nice to have such interesting questions. I'm sure Blackie's enjoyed himself. And now we're going to go and check out a little bit about where Blackie lives at the moment, but actually, secret, but he's told me anyway. He's going to be moving out of LA soon, but there's still a whole load of stuff going on, so go and check out LA Stories.
People don't want you to change. They want you to be whatever you were originally that captured their imagination. And the guy that wrote Blind in Texas doesn't exist anymore. And I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. I mean, we all grow. I think it's important for any artist to reinvent themselves also from time to time, because I don't care who you are, you're going to eventually get to a point where you're bored with yourself, and when you get bored with yourself, you're going to bore the audience. a real avid art fan. I collect art, sculpting, paintings, things like that. And I discovered very painfully years ago that you buy art because you like it, not because you think it's going to be valuable. If that's true, then you make art for the same reasons. You make it because you like it, not because you think it's going to be worth something. So, and I don't mean to sound arrogant by doing this. It's just what's happened to me is one of the good byproducts of making this was an inner peace that I discovered about myself. And I'm going to do whatever I want to do from now on. And if somebody likes it, fine. And if they don't, that's fine too. Because I think ultimately, and like I said, I know that sounds real arrogant. I don't mean it to be. I'm trying to make a point that whether it's me or any artist, the only way that they can ever achieve that is by being true to themselves. There may be some guys out there who do stuff that they don't believe in. And I'm sure that there are. But I'm glad to say that I'm not one of those. And I got a letter from a woman whose daughter had been killed in a car accident. And her boyfriend had been diagnosed with he was terminally ill with cancer. So he decided he was going to commit suicide. So he gets his girlfriend in the car, drives off a cliff, kills her, doesn't kill him. And the mother wants to know whether she can use excerpts from the lyrics to put on her daughter's headstone. Now you tell me how somebody could get letters like that day in and day out and not be affected by what they're doing for a living. You would have to be subhuman not to feel it.
careful what you wish for. It may come true. 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 True.